Hello friends, welcome to Help Me Coder, and in this video we are going to discuss about Power App Patch function, where we'll be looking into what is this Power App Patch function all about, what are the different scenarios where we'll be using the Power App Patch function, plus we'll be doing a small demo called Event Attendance App. We'll be using the data that is collected across multiple screens that we'll be create in our app, and then we'll push that data into the SharePoint data store. Now there are SharePoint data store basically consists of a lot of columns, so we'll be seeing how do you patch those different type of columns that SharePoint has, like basically your lookup, like you have drop downs, the radio buttons, the text box. So we'll be looking into all of these. Also we'll be looking into how do you connect to multiple data source in this video. So there are a lot of things that we'll be covering in this particular video, so stick with us to the end. Power App Patch function can be used to modify a record or add a new record into the data store. Now the question that you may have is that why we would be using a Power App Patch function when we can use the out of the box edit form or the display screen that is provided, where you don't have to write a single line of code. The reason why we are using the patch function is because of some complex situations. And what are those complex situations? One of those, for example, could be that you have multiple screens in your app. Now your data is being collected from screen A to screen B and screen C, and then finally at screen C you have a submit button that you are using to push the data back into the data store. Now for those situations you need to use the patch function. Another example can be when you want to add or modify a record in a data store without any user interaction. So basically you don't have any button or you don't have any forms, edit forms. So in those kind of scenarios when there is no user interaction but you still want to update or add a new record into the data store, in those scenarios patch function would be beneficial. Now we'll be doing a demo on this, and that demo will be showing how do you patch values when you are using multiple screens. But before we go into the demo, let me show you how the patch function look like. And if you see over here, the patch function consists of 3 parameters. Parameter number 1 basically is the data store. Now based on your data source, like for example in our case we are using a SharePoint list as a data store, and that list basically will be the name of the list will be present over here. So once you attach your data store to this particular app, you will specify the name of the list that you are going to connect this data store with. Then the second parameter would be the filtering that you're gonna do to fetch one single record out of your data stores which you need to patch. Basically right now this patch function is modifying a record, so I'm just filtering and getting one single row of data out of your data store. So how do you do that? Right now what I'm doing is I'm filtering the name column in the whole list, and where the name is equal to Hemant. So this I'm looking in the column called name where the name is Hemant, and then I may get like multiple records out of it once I use this filter. But then what I'm saying over here is I want only the first record out of this one row that you have returned me. Change the age, which is the third parameter. So third parameter talks about what you want to change or what you want to add. So here when I'm modifying a record, I'm saying change the value of age to 40. So that is how you modify a record. The only difference between modify and the new record is that the second parameter over here, I will just use a default schema of this particular data store. So in this case the feedback is the list, SharePoint list is our data store. So I'm saying you get me the default schema of this feedback list, and then what I'm doing is in my third parameter I'm saying okay, so then once you get the default schema, insert the new values which are the name is Vivek and age is equal to 28 into this particular data store. How do you write this thing? I will be going in more details when we are doing our demo, so let's quickly jump into that. So now in this training feedback app, where we'll be asking users to submit their review about the training session that they have attended, what we will be doing is we'll be storing their feedback into this list which will be acting as a data store for our app. Now this list I'm trying to have as many different type of columns so that I can show you the patch function and what are the different syntax, how it changes based on the type of column that you are using. If I click on the new, we are using the text box field where I'm taking the name, date of birth, which is a date time picker, then gender, which is an option field, and then we have a session name, which is basically a lookup basically to another list that we have called training session. So this is a lookup field. Then we have the ratings, which is just a number field, and then we have key takeaway, which is a multi-text field. Then we have a drop down, which is the best stall that we had in the training event. Now we will be populating this information through our app. So now let me go back to the Canvas app that I have created. In this Canvas app, I have done some pre-work already, means in the sense I have created this app. I have dropped in 2 new screens, so you can just need to click a blank screens from here, and in the screens right now, like for example in the screen 1, I have added the name, date of birth. All these are label fields that I have just added. This is an image field that I have added. So once in the screen 2, all the same thing, I have just copied the image plus, and then I have added all the label fields. The rest of the thing we'll be doing in this demo. So for the name, it will be a text box. So this is the text box. In the advanced, I will just remove this default value from here. Then date of birth, again we will be adding the date picker. So by default it shows today's date. Then in gender, we want to add radio button. Now this is showing in a direction which is vertical. The layout is different. I will change it from vertical to basically horizontal. Now the values of it, this is 1 and 2. I want to show it as gender, that is male and female. So the way you write it is you just start with the bracket and then just type in male and you just type in female and then close the bracket over here. That's it. So that's the under the item section. Now which event session was attended by you? So this will be a drop down. I want to get this information from training session list where all the training names I want to display. I want to put a drop down over here. So this one I just drop over here. Then basically if I want to go to the next screen from here, I will add a button called next. That will take me to the next screen. So to go to the next screen, there is a command on select. You can say navigate. So once you say navigate, which is the name of the target screen, so that the other screen that I want to go to is basically screen 2. So this is the screen. And how do you want to go to that screen? Though there are different transitions that you can choose. So for example, just now I will choose screen transition as fade. You can try all the different transitions over here. Now this one is not working right now. It is not connected to any data store. So you need to add that data store over here. So to add a data store, click on this data store icon. Inside the connector, I will just choose SharePoint. So this is the SharePoint connection that I've already have. If you don't know how to add connection, you can watch my earlier videos. Now once you click on that connection and then choose the SharePoint site where the list is, this is the Mango site where my list is. In this this is the training session. Just select that and you click on connect. So now once you click on connect, if you see that this thing comes up over here in your app. Now if you want to show items from that particular data store, you just click on it under the item section, remove this drop down sample. Instead of this, you can say training sessions. Okay, so once you say that, go to the properties over here. Once you say training sessions, if you see that on the value part, it is showing compliance asset ID. I don't want that. I want the training name. So I will just say training name and it starts showing you the name of the training. So if you see that, this is how quickly I have done this form. So once I click on next, so let me go take you to the screen to how satisfied with your event. So this is the rating thing that I want to have. I would say I want a rating thing. So rating thing, just drop it over here. Then which company stall was most informative? Again, this is a drop down. So I will say, okay, drop down. Now this one comes from another data source. This is not from this training session. It comes from the training feedback. Now, how do you get the other data store to be connected? So to do that, again, go to this data store icon, go to connectors, go to SharePoint, go to the SharePoint connection, go to your site over here on the right hand side. This time it is training feedback. So now click on connect. Once you are connected, so you will see that now in your app you are having two set of connection, training session and training feedback. Now once you have that, go back again to your app. Now this one is coming, taking values from training feedback. Now remove this drop down sample from here. Now last time we did was where we said training feedback. Now instead of training session we will say training feedback. Now once the training feedback is there, instead of compliance ID we will try to choose the values from drop down. Now if you go back to your list, you will see that the name of the column from where we want to pull the values is called best stall. Now if you check over here, there is nothing as a best stall. The reason why it's not coming over here is that because this is a drop down option that's considered as a complex type. So what you can do is, instead of training feedback, you will say that I will need to have choices. In choices thing inside the training feedback, I want the best stall. So that's the type of table that I want. Now once you close this off, you are getting the values of training.bestall and you are putting it under choices function. So that's it. So now you will see that the choices have started coming up. Now the last thing, I want to have a multi-line text input. So I will just use the text input only for this one as well. But there is a property that I need to change over here to make it from single line to multi-line. Okay, so this one is the mode. So it is the single line. So I will just change it to basically multi-line. So once I change multi-line, so you can have a lot of lines that you can write in. Then you need to provide submit button. So now this submit button will push the data back into the feedback list. So it will collect the information from both the screens and submit it back. Now if you want to go back to the home screen, you can provide a icon as well. Click on this home icon to go back to the previous screen. So in this home icon, I can just say which is navigate, and then I will provide the name of the target location where I want to navigate. So I will say screen 1. Let's try different transition, which is screen transition cover right. Close this off. So that's how easy it is. Now let us run this, and if you see, if I click over here, this is transition which is right. Then when you click on next, it goes over to this form. So now to patch all the fields that we have across both the screens, so what we need to do is click on the submit button, and then we need to write our patch command that I told you earlier. So now in the patch command, first parameter that you need to pass is the name of the data source, which in our case is the training feedback. That is the list name that we have, because this is a new item that we are going to push in. So that's why we are writing as default. So under the default, we have to again provide the same data source, which is the training feedback. And then as the patch command basically accepts the record inside it, so all the parameters will go inside these curly braces, and that's how the patch command will look like. So if I do format text, it will show you the command very nicely. Now inside this curly braces, we will add all the fields that we want to patch. The first field that we want to patch, if you see, is the name. The value of the name field will be coming from the text input 1. Name field, which is name title, will come from the text input 1 dot text. So this is the text field. Then if I will put a comma again for the next field, the next thing is the date of birth, and for that I will say the name of the field is DOB. Again, date of birth is coming from your date picker, and control, which is this control over here. So now I will write something like date picker 1 dot selected date. So once I do that, it will fetch the value. Thirdly, we want to get the gender value. We will have a comma, and we will say write gender, because that is the name of the list, the column name. And then the value is coming from this radio control. So we will say radio 1 dot selected text. The next thing that I want to do is this session name, which is a lookup column. And to do a lookup column and to insert a value inside a lookup column, you need to pass two things. One is the ID and the value of the lookup column from the different data source. So this lookup column is referring to this particular field. So I need to pass two things. I need to pass this name and the ID value. So name is easy to get, because inside your this form you have the name field being captured on the screen field, which is this one, the name field, but the ID is something that you need to take out using this name field. Okay, so we will be looking into how to do that. Let's go into screen true and submit. So I will again put a comma, and the field name is basically session name. And if you try to do something like string over here, it will give you an error. The reason being, if you hover on this error, so this type of argument session name does not match the expected type record. So it is expecting a record. So when it says it expects a record, you need to have curly braces over here, and you need to provide the ID and the value. So I will say value, which is coming from the drop down one, this one colon, and then we will say drop down one dot selected text dot value. So then only it will fetch this value. Now the next thing is the ID. So ID you need to write it as I capital and D small, and then you need to provide the ID value. For now, if I hard code it to 2, then I say format text. So now it works, means the code is correct. There is no error coming up over here. But is it right? No, because ID is hard coded. I want to get this ID value based on this value over here. So to get the ID value, I will again use a lookup function inside here. So this lookup function, what it will do, it will search for a particular value inside a data source and get you a corresponding value of that column name that you specify. So I'm looking into training session list, which is this list. So I'm looking inside this list, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this drop down, this value. I'm looking for this value which is equals to this name, training name. So I'm looking for this value and the column name is training. So this is the column name. So I'm looking for this value, and what will be the output? If I get this value, the output will be the ID. So this is the output that I will receive. If you don't know the ID, you need to get the ID value, and you need to get the you need to have the value. So once you submit like this, it will push the values inside. So let me show you how it works. I'll go back to the home, and I will say, for example, my name is Hemant, and I am selecting Power Apps and gender male, and I select date as 19. Okay, and then I click on next, and because these are all information I'm not feeding right now, so just I click submit. And let us go back into the feedback list and say refresh. See, this value comes into the list. So the next thing, to pass this rating values to your feedback form, what we can do is in the submit button, pretty simple. We can we put the comma, and then so the field name is the rating field. So what we will do is we will add rating, and then we'll put a colon, and then the value is coming from the rating 1 dot value. That's how it is, simple it is. The next thing is the drop down option that we have. So for the drop down option, which is drop down 2, we have from where we are getting our value, the thing that is going to be filled is the best all. So for the best all, we will say best all, and then we will, for the drop down option, we will say drop down 2 dot selected text. Okay, so that's how we gonna get the best all value. Last thing that is left is the text area. So this is a multi-line text. So how do you fill that? So again, click on the submit. The value will be filled in key takeaways. So I will say key takeaways, and then I will get the value from text input 2 dot text. So format text again. Now let us run and see the full working of this app. So if I go back, and now you are seeing that the old data is still there. So there is a way we can clear off this everything. So I'll say Vivek, and I will fill this as 3. I'll say okay. I will say female, and then I will say SharePoint. Next, I will give a rating of 5. I will say Oracle, and I will say good learning, and that's it. So once I click submit, that data will be submitted back into my feedback form. So let's say Vivek, this is female, rating is 5, good learning, Oracle, and so all the information has come in from here. So now after you click on submit, if you want to reset all the values that you have filled in the form, then what you can do is at the end of the patch statement, you can just add the reset function and provide the name of the control that you want to reset. Like for example, if I want to remove the good learning, I can say reset text input 2, which is the control name, and that will reset that control. Then I can even add another reset over here, which is for text input 1 as well. Now this is giving me some kind of error because I have not closed in the patch correctly, so I have to just put this semicolon over here, and then I can just keep on adding reset like this. Let me show you how it works now. So if I click the submit button now, so this is already filled up. So if I click the submit button now as Google, and then if I 5 is again the rating, you see this has reset all, it has removed all the values from here. So that's how it reset works. I hope you would have found this video helpful. Do let me know your feedback, or if you have any questions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy coding.